even during the course of the race, kind of going back and forth and just talking about things and key moments that are happening during the race. So big shout out to everybody. Also, you already know, big shout out all those breast cancer survivors, people fighting cancer, people and families with alongside people fighting cancer. I'll be wearing pink all month and purple for the fight against breast cancer and cancers of any types, plus domestic abuse. And I'm going to say that today was visually domestic abuse on behalf of Formula One for the race we saw today. It was odd, right? Today's race was odd. I mean, it was something that was we ran into the situation, came up, we ran into a rain, then we didn't really know what was going to happen. Somebody was working with my chair. We really didn't know what was going to happen, if the race was going to take place. To the whole debacle about going from inners to damn slicks, and it was just odd. But off the rip, I'm gonna say that there's always this first lap racing incident, like things just, you gotta let some things go. Maybe you don't like them. Maybe it's not like your cup of tea. Maybe if it happened later, the different decisions would have been made. But right off the rip, we had Carlos going wide on Lewis Hamilton, runs him off track. I mean, you got to chuck that up, right? To a racing situation, like racing incident is like a first lap situation. Like everybody's trying, it's a rat race literally off the rip. So I'm not really looking too hard on that. I'm not really looking to like spend too much time on that. That is what it is. And big shout out to Perez for winning the GP. Although there's some things that I think they put in lieu or in the air or the atmosphere during the last portion of the race, which we'll get to that as well. And Max drops right off the rip. He drops the 12th. Latifi does Crash Tiffy things. I mean, I don't know what's up with this dude. Crash Tiffy, Latifi. I'm really getting tired of like announcers and commentators talking about Albon. Like Albon is in risk of losing his job. Only if Albon was unable to return to the grid because of medical situations and or maybe an indefinite medical situation that occurred with his body. Because, big shout out, Albon made it back. I'm glad he made it back healthy. He went through a little rough patch there where I'm pretty sure himself, he was considering if he was going to even make it back to Formula One, but he did, right? He made it back. So I'm getting tired of commentators talking about Albon potentially losing his position to Nick DeVries. No, Albon's not the one that's in risk of losing his damn position. It's damn Crash Tiffy you need to be talking about on the way out that is going to be vacating a position, because Williams is tired of it. They're tired of it. Maybe right now, finally, a light switch clicked off with Williams and they said, yo, we trying to be competitive and we're getting rid of dead weight. And Latifi is dead expensive weight. Yeah, he comes with a checkbook that definitely yielded what? They gave him like $60 million worth of a credit line to Williams, Michael Latifi, and then also like a $20 million loan during that rough patch. So, yeah, Latifi comes with a Birkin bag. But I just got to ask you, if you know what I'm saying, just ladies, let me ask you this. If you're in a horrible situation, a horrible relationship, your significant other keeps running out, cheating on you, doing all types of things, but they always bring you a Birkin bag. I mean, how valuable is that Birkin bag going to be up until the point where you keep getting abused or mistreated in a relationship? It's not. Latifi is that. Latifi is a bad stock that pays good dividends, but annually continues to lose money over the course of you owning the stock. A Condu, big shout out. Plus, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep track all of these today. A Condu, let me give you your props for your super chat, bro. Let me give it to you. Don't forget, we're going to be live in the Wolves Den after this. Let me give you a super chat. Oh, Jay Starship, thank you. She got it. Jay Starship and Sylvia got you today. So let me see. Merck fucked Lewis race by not listening to him on giving him the tires he wanted on the start. They so damn smart, but yet they've been behind Red Bull and Ferrari the entire year, forced Lewis to overly run the corners, frustrated. I'm going to say this. Definitely the tire situation. Lewis, I'm pretty sure it was a situation, because at first it was some question like, what was it? I know damn well Lewis wasn't talking about going out there on slick, so it wasn't that. I believe that, like they said, the conversation was, whether to go out on a used set of inners or a new set. And I don't know what it's going to take. Big shout out, Black Heart, Mad Dog. I see you. And I want to make sure I pause that. I don't know what it's going to take, right? At this point in stage in Lewis's career, at this point in stage of what took place last year, at this point in stage of where the car is right now, listen, if he says what the fuck he wants, just give it to him. Give it to him. If it doesn't work out, it's completely on Lewis. We're going back to the original game plan. Champ, we gave you your option. Champ, we let you run your route. Champ, it didn't work out. We're going to go ahead and go back to what we had planned out. Let's go back to the strategy and try that. But Lewis Hamilton has earned that respect and regard that he should have from the team. If he said, yo, I want these tires, just put them on there. Fuck it, just put them on there. He's not in fighting championship contention to win a title this season. Just put them on there. So what? If it doesn't work, that's on him. Bring him in. There was plenty of opportunities in the race to pit and to change up anyway. He didn't end up top 5 anyway, right? I mean, we got the board. The board shows what? Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Hamilton, 4th. Okay. So he did end up top 5, but the thing is this. You still need to give the man the opportunity to have and run the strategy that he wants, right? Let him be in a little bit more control of his destiny on track. So that's all I'm saying. Like, he wasn't going to get the race win. We'll get to that. But let me read this super chat. Blackheart Mad Dog. Just mistakes all over the place, but I was glad Crash Tiffy was out so he couldn't ruin the race more than it already was. Just mistakes all over the place. Black had more, man, it was more, and more mistakes. This race literally could be deemed the circuit of mistakes, the Mistake Dale circuit or some shit like that. I mean, I told y'all in qualifying that it was likely that we were going to see a correlation of what we had in qualifying with the cars coming off track, with them wiggling all over the place, translate over to the race. And that's exactly what happened. Like, more front wings got replaced in this one race than I think in any other race this season. Like, the barriers definitely got tested out. Like, barriers today definitely got a workout. Big shout out, Massacre. I don't know what it will take to beat Red Bull. I doubt they will be touched even next season, to be honest. Mesker, like, that's no joke. Like, he's not fun right there. Like, what Mesker is saying is absolutely true. You can see the compare and contrast of the RB18 compared to the other cars in straight line speed. Like, just look at the camera view when we were with Hamilton on camera view when he was just behind Verstappen. The RB18 is it's a rocket. It's a rocket. No doubt. It's a rocket. I've said that plenty of times. It is a rocket. And you can see that its straight line speed is superior to the other cars on the grid. No doubt. No doubt. I wonder the same thing. You're not even lying about that. That's a real point. Ernie Simmons, what a bizarre race that was. Hamilton making a slight error on the track, Verstappen making loads of errors. I am surprised he finished in points rarely in Verstappen. Yeah, Verstappen finished in points too. He finished what? 9th or 8th? What'd he finish? So 2, 4, 6. Yeah, so Verstappen finished 7th. He still finished in points. Hamilton finished, fortunately, in the top 5 in points as we see. Russell, a real rough day for Russell. I really think it was more about Russell's qualifying that led him to have that type of showing. It definitely ruined his consistency thing. So a big shout out to Russell also being the guinea pig. Russell going to try things with tire strategy anyway. So let's not call Russell a guinea pig for that. Russell has already proven us that under his own advisement, he's made decisions to go out on certain tires that definitely probably aren't the best options that he probably should go out on. So I'm not finna sit here and give like all the blame to Mercedes for that. That's not gonna happen. So going forward, let me see. Ernie, I see somebody else had laid one down, right? No, so that's what we got. Okay. So then we get into Hamilton was 4th, Max 10th, Perez in 1st. Lewis radios that they should have just listened to him about the tires. How many times Hamilton P9. What the fuck is up with this shit, man? Let me bring up the other board because this board is screwed. Because I didn't think that Hamilton finished in fourth. I swear that he finished like down probably 10th. That was lucky. So let me see. Let me bring up the actual race results. Hell no, fuck that. I can go right here. Let me bring up the actual race results. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. I started to almost go cut grass. Like at a certain part of time, I started to just leave and go cut grass. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Like I was like, this race, I like Singapore. And I think I got mesmerized by the lights every time I see Singapore. And then the time went by since we've been to Singapore. And then I see it on the list again. I'm like, oh yeah. So anyway, results: Perez, Leclerc, Sainz, Norris, Ricciardo, Stroll, Verstappen, Vettel, and then Hamilton ninth. So yes, that right there. So like I was saying about the tires, so I was accurate on saying, then I saw this damn board that came up. I don't know why they switched it like that. And then I thought, okay, well, he ended up top 5. But yeah, there was nothing to be lost. They should have just let Hamilton have his way with the tires. Just straight up facts. Let me see. Mercedes bottled it again with the strategy. What were they doing with Russell, putting him on dry tires on the wet track, that race officially? Man, I can't even honestly say that it might have all been Mercedes, right? I can't even honestly say that. And I'm like, listen, the max delusional fans, y'all come on in here and get to it the way you want, because your boy outside the car being fast was looking hella suspect at this race. Hamilton wasn't the only one looking suspect. And we got some other things that we definitely are going to talk about. Believe that. And I will talk to those on another video. All right, on another video. Who we got right here? We got Ernie Simmons. Norris could even be on the podium after Sergio's penalty, because I believe that a safety car infringement that could be a drive-through penalty. That was a well-controlled race by Sergio, but I do not think he will win. I'm going to say this. If Perez is under investigation, the entire Red Bull driving team should be under investigation. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. They should be under investigation. This is where I stand with that. If that is the case, then yes, they all need to be both drivers need to be under investigation. It should not be just one driver under investigation, because he's not the only one that had an infringement on a safety car. Oddly, nobody kept talking about Max throughout the race, but we'll get to that. Eric TB4, you think Max should be the driver of the day? Hell no. Hell no, Max is not the driver of the day. If somebody's going to be the driver of the day, it's probably going to be Sergio or Charles should be driver of the day. Like, Sergio got out in front, controlled the race, managed, drove a good race. Charles thankfully didn't do a bunch of shenanigans and ruin even getting second place like he did at Imola. So, no, I don't think Max is driver of the damn day. Hell no. Come on now, I damn sure don't think that. Like any other times, maybe, not today. Freds, I see you. Red Bull car is light years ahead of Merc. Is going to need a lock in the next year's cars. I noticed a lack of pace today, even though it's Singapore. That is true. I was just speaking to that. It was definitely a lack of pace, and you could tell. Let's just call it what it is. Straight line speed. We saw it. We saw the RB18 compared to the W13, and the RB18 is like, phew, it's out of there. It is out of there. Oh my gosh. You know what? Listen. Are y'all delusional? Are you delusional? What gives Max even the inkling for you to think he's driver of the day? Driver of the day? He's not even in the top 5. Driver of the day, he ran off the track. Driver of the day, he made several mistakes. He's not driver of the fucking day just because he finished the race. How are you going to say Sergio Perez is not driver of the day? How are you going to say Charles doesn't need to be driver of the day? Come on, stop playing with me. Stop playing out here in these streets. Driver of the day for what? For what? He's in the fastest car on the grid and was unable to, in inclement conditions, show that he could navigate the car to the front. Unlike other situations, he's not the best in the wet situations. He's not the worst, but he's not the best, and it showed. Perez took the car, did what he needed to do under adversity, underneath the same wet conditions everybody else did. Did you see Max's start? So you're going to give Max driver of the day for that fuck-ass start? Did you see that start? It was Snell. It was, I mean, he damn near stalled the car. Are you giving him driver of the day for that? Come on, man. Y'all got to stop with this shit. Come on now. Lewis Hamilton's not even driver of the day. And he wrecked the car and still managed to stay in points. Literally wrecked the car. Had to change the front wing. Max complaining about the front wing might fall off. How about George still finishing the race? That car, that W13's probably beat the hell. I mean, I'm just saying, y'all got to stop with that shit. No, he's not driver of the day. Lewis' greatest attribute as a racer is how critical he is about his performance. Today, he made mistakes. And as he said on the radio, not good enough. Yes, and no, thank you. It is funny. Lewis Hamilton can criticize himself, also criticize the team in a way, right? We just saw Max yesterday totally throw his team under the bus, but didn't say nothing. I mean, I want to know what he's going to say about himself today. While people saying he's driver of the day, I don't know how you could come up with driver of the day, but I'm not agreeing with that. Peacemaker. They should fire Jolyon Palmer for basic bias commentary. Hey, I've already made Jolyon Palmer is already a buster in my category. He's already a buster. We've shown what Jolyon Palmer's experience and his body of work has done in Formula One. He's not a resident expert. Not at all. You spammers, we're shutting you the that's a fact. Sylvia Kelly, tell them like it is. Dario, let me see. I got some other super chats right here. Dario says, Checo is the driver of the day. They hating on Checo. Checo should be driver of the day. Matter of fact, Charles and Checo, those should be the only two. You want to know why? Because they were counting on Charles to not be in this race in order for Max to get the early championship victory. They were counting and hoping that Max will put himself in position so that they could tell Checo to back up to give Max the early championship victory. Why would they do that? Why would anybody do anything? So, yes, those two drivers probably should be more looked at as driver of the day. If you want to look at somebody who went through adversity and try to give it based off that, well, shit, you go to Russell. You give Russell driver of the day, but damn sure not Max and not Lewis Hamilton. Not today. Not if we're talking about holding world champions on a different level of expectations. Although it could be said that one world champion is not technically a legitimate world champion yet, and that, it can be debated. But I'm just saying, you should be holding them to a different degree. Matter of fact, I'm going to be looking at Lando and Ricciardo, somebody. I mean, we haven't seen McLaren tie up together like this in the top 5 in a minute. We're looking at Stroll at 6. Vettel at least made it up to 8. Like, come on, there are several other drivers that I can look at. I mean, Vettel did a very good job at trying to defend here and there, all right? Hamilton opened up the door during his attack on Vettel, got out of the dry into the wet trying to come off the line, and it cost him, and it let Max through. But let's stop these shenanigans. Y'all out here playing games. Wildcat, Daniel should have been driver of the day. Thank you. Thank you very much for speaking some sense. I can go with Daniel if you want to put him up for driver of the day. Rambro 88, ain't seen you in a minute, bro. What's happening? Not making penalty decisions under or after the race just allows the stewards to just, hey, Rambro, I get so tired of that shit, right? They need to let them know now what's going on. Don't try to, wait to the end of the race, be like, oh, well, we want to screw them. Or, you know what? Maybe we won't do it because we like them, so we're going to hold the penalty off. We'll put it on the next race. Yeah, they should have, depending on the incident, everything that happens in the race, there should be a decision within the race unless it's like a driver fight in the pit lane, right? We got to see who started the fight, go over the camera view. But even that is reviewable during the race. I mean, you got damn near an hour and a half maybe to decide who's at fault. Why are we waiting? And on top of that, why is it that we're talking about Perez even being under investigation? Meanwhile, his partner over there clearly overtook during the safety car. Just saying. I'm just saying. What we got? We got somebody else. I seen somebody else. X-Trax, I got you. Let me see. X-Trax is next. Congratulations, Wolfpack, on reaching 10K subs. Big shout out to you, big bro. Yes, no, congratulations to you all. You all have made it possible for the channel to make it to 10K subs. I can't subscribe to the channel 10,000 times over. You all that are viewers, even you haters, you know what I'm saying? Y'all love to come here. The haters even love to come here. They come here every day or every week to check the content because they love to be here, because you don't have another platform that's max-based that would give you the entertainment, that would give you the thrill, that would give you the nudge to even want to debate like this platform. And that's just a fact. That's why you keep coming back here. I'm just telling you, you keep coming back here. Big shout out, Extracts. Thanks for that, bro. Akondu says Lewis had a wrecked wing and Max still couldn't overtake him. Facts. 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 Got on radio for Lewis to pit and move over. Facts. Fact. Listen, Max. Yo, if you don't want to be behind a slow W13 with a partially broken wing that could come off and hinder your race, just pass him. You got the RB18. It's a rocket ship. Just get past him. That's all you got to do. You don't have to waste time radio and shit. There are 100 cameras on the track. You don't think that they saw clearly that there was a broken wing on Lewis Hamilton's car? You don't think they saw that? Listen, bro, just drive your race, and if you can get by, go the fuck by. Don't worry about crying on the radio, being a steward and part-time Red Bull driver. Just be a Red Bull driver and let us handle everything else. We see it on all the cameras we have. How many camera views do you have in your car? 0. Just drive. That's all you got to do. Don't complain. Don't try to bait shit up. Just drive. Who else we got on here? Who else we got on here? Shit. By the way, you already know. Let's see. Galacticus. Russell took the fastest lap just for fun. Hey, I'm not mad at Russell. At least he said, I'm getting a point somewhere. Russell said, I'm going to get a point somewhere in here. I'm not going out empty-handed. He said, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. So anyway, Albon nearly retires the car earlier. Lap 6, Vettel let Max by. Seemed a little easy to me, but it is what it is. Lap 7, Zhou off track. Latifi has a puncture, and we have a safety car. Latifi is just doing Latifi-like things. He's out of there, right? I mean, Latifi, we won't waste time on Latifi. Latifi is Latifi. We got green lap. Now, that first safety car really benefited Max and Russell. That really benefited Max and Russell, that first initial safety car. Dave, Lewis and Max should not give driver of the day. Thank you. They went for hero status and fair play, but they both look like idiots in the end of the race. Z's, that's a fact. Like, I don't know why Lewis went for that move out of the dry line. I mean, if that's fine, hero status, true. But if you went for it, he went for it. He went for it, tried to do something. Maybe he felt like it doesn't matter. I'm just going to try to go for it and see what happens. Okay, well, if that's how you felt, that's cool. But it definitely didn't pan out at all. And it let Max rate by you. And then it wasn't looking good. Max, definitely mistakes. Runoff, all types of other shit. His start was horrible. I agree with you. Eric TB4, Lewis complained about not being able to pass Carlos. Yeah, but drivers complain about this type of shit all the time. Don't worry about that. Just get past them. There's one thing. If a driver's slow, moving and weaving in the braking line, are doing except the brake check. Now, we saw Carlos do a brake check. All right, we know F1 cars don't have brake lights. There's no way Lewis passes Carlos in a Ferrari that fast. Carlos evidently applied brakes or extremely came all the way off the throttle, one of the two. All right, but yes, don't worry if you can get by him. But there are moments in a race where a driver is making it hazardous in order for you to try to pass them. And those situations need to be looked at. But other than that, I'm the same way. Like, drive the damn car and just get by if you can get by. Like, don't worry about it. But yes, Eric TB4, you're right about that. Like, yeah, that I feel the same way about it. I'm not flipping just because of who it is. Shit, I feel the same way. Gasly listen, Gasly is probably looking at a part-time job if the Alpine thing doesn't pan out. I think Gasly's looking at trying to be a doorman, as I'm pretty sure he was willing to let Max and I think like Vettel by during that 11th lap. I think Gasly's looking at being a doorman. I think that's what he's looking at doing. Lap 14, damn near went I damn near went and cut grass by lap 14. The race was like, it was here, then it was there. It was here, then it was there. It was here, then it was there. I really didn't know what to really expect. And you know what? Sadly, that this track could be something like a masked Monaco, but I like it better than Monaco. I like Singapore better than Monaco. It could be because it's under the lights. I do like the track layout better than Monaco, but yeah, maybe if they widened it a bit, it might be better. But honestly, I wasn't too disappointed in the race. It's funny that some circuits bring about certain characteristics, right? Like everybody's wondering about the safety car in Singapore. It's a street track, so it gives adversity and challenges due to the surface not being consistent all the way through the circuit. And I think really that's what I like about Singapore, that aspect of it. But you would need an attribute like the wet today to bring about some of those characteristics in a stronger sense. So without those characteristics, Singapore may indeed could be maybe a more boring track. Plus, we didn't have DRS for quite some time during this race. Lincoln Clay VR for once Verstappen for strap on didn't act like a baby today. Big shout out, Lincoln Clay. Stay buff with it, bro. Yeah, for once he did act like a baby today. In qualifying, he was definitely babied up. Definitely. So then lap 19, max up to 7th. And then I wanted to know, were we about to see the crash gate driver, the longest career in Formula One history, along with the human era champion? Were we going to see a battle there? We did not get that. All right, lap 21, Merck comes out, looks like they shuffling around tires. I'm not sure at this point in time if they kind of like faking it or they kind of really considering it, because later on they went ahead and they pitted Russell. Good job. And once again, not the best pit stop, but 3.1 seconds is not the worst. And Russell comes out of the pits and immediately reports back that there's no grip. But let's talk about Alpine and this Renault power unit again. It failed them. Galacticus, Alonso is fine. I was just about to talk about Alonso. Alonso is finally blocking somebody other than Lewis. Lap 17, he's keeping Max behind him until his car, and that's what I was just about to talk about. That's what I was about to talk about. So, yes, he is definitely doing a good job, but then his car craps out, and I say to myself, you know what? That's what damn Renault power units get you. They don't get you to the end of the race. And I said, but you know what? Ocon is still out there, so technically it might not be Renault, just might be servicing. But then what do we know? Lap 28, Ocon is out. Ocon's out too. I'm telling you, Alpine, if there's something that you want to do, get rid of that Renault power unit. Get you a Mercedes, which has by far been one of the most reliable power units. Definitely probably got more power than the Alpine power unit. And reliability in itself could do you some good. Go dump Renault and see about getting a Mercedes. I'm not too sure about you selling yourself on a Ferrari. If you could, also, you might want to look in a Honda. Anything besides Renault. Renault is it's not doing it for you. I mean, they haven't been doing it for seasons now. They've been smoke bombs. Don't try Red Bull power unit because they so much not shit that they ain't even running them their damn self. And I would be fair to say this. I don't even think we'll see a Red Bull power unit in 2026. Just saying. I don't even think we see a Red Bull power unit then. So then Lewis was putting some pressure on Carlos, and I didn't expect to see much from it. I didn't think much was going to happen. Lap 25, then we got a chance to see Max in 6th and Lando in 5th. So I started wondering if we might get to see a battle there. And no, we didn't get to see a battle there. You know, the bestie thing kind of probably kicked in. Plus, Albon lost his front wing. That brings about a damn virtual safety car. But oddly, after that virtual safety car, during that virtual safety car session, nobody still took to the pit lane. Like, nobody was taking pits at this point in time. They were still trying to figure out whether they wanted to be on inners or whether they were going to go to slicks. Nobody was buying. Nobody was biting at that time. Oddly, like, nobody literally came into the pits. Ferrari standing in the pit. We've talked about this before, right? Ferrari has a history of very bad incidents that's happening with the pit stops. Like, Kimi Räikkönen literally ran over somebody in pit lane. And Ferrari definitely, I think this should be viewed. I think the stewards, FIA, should look at this and see how often teams put pit crew in jeopardy or in danger in the pit lane unnecessarily, just to pull out a ploy or something. And I think that needs to be reviewed and investigated. And they need to decide, is that something that if you do it a certain amount of times and your car doesn't come in, we'll give you 3 or 4 times. And if that happens during the season, we're going to penalize you points. We're going to penalize you constructor points if you're putting pit crew in danger just to bluff other teams and no cars are coming in. I think that's what they should have to do, because then if you do it, you're going to have to bring a car in, whether they drive through pit lane or not. There needs to be a tax paid for that. I think that's something that they definitely need to look into. Eric, TB4, did you notice any porpoising? I didn't. I did not really notice any porpoising, although I don't know if they reached the speeds that would have really brought the porpoising in. Plus, they raised the vertical limit, and that was the limit, not the car. So I'm not really sure. And I'm not really sure if maybe some of the cars might have made height adjustments due to it being a street circuit. But no, I did not really recognize clearly any porpoising going on, nor did we hear any of it, hear any talk about it during the broadcast. At least I didn't. Dave, by the way, AlphaTauri are still in F1. I'm sick of them parting like mooses and Red Sea every time Max comes by. Cutting grass would have been good, to be honest. I'm telling you. And that's what I saw. Like every time. And is it not odd? Is it not odd? Is it not a little odd that here we are again with a safety car that kind of comes out? Verstappen really doesn't get the best of that one. And the next thing you know, Yuki is in the wall and AlphaTauri has brought on a full safety car, which then bunches up. That's conspiracy. That's just speaking, just like observations, just like oddly, coincidentally, this happens again. So I do think, like I made the video, Red Bull, AlphaTauri need to be separated. Technically, Red Bull has 4 cars, 2 teams on the grid and in the paddock. I do not think that is something of integrity for Formula One to uphold. I think to make things a bit more fair and legitimate, Red Bull would need to several ties in AlphaTauri. If they can't manage to hold the team on their own completely without ties to Red Bull, they would need to sell and be under somebody else, be ran by different management, whatever the case is. But communication, partnership, everything with Red Bull should be broken up. Galacticus says replace Renault engine with the Audi or a Porsche. If they actually get in, right? Audi's in, but yeah, I would go for that too. I would go for that. That's an option. At least that's an unknown option. Give somebody a chance. You know what these Renault power units are going to do. Shit. Go ahead and try something new. That's what I would say. So then 30 lap Max. Now, this is where we get into this situation, all right? Here is where the situation comes in. How is it that Sergio Perez is under investigation and Max Verstappen is not? Why? Where? How come? This is what I'm wondering. Like, how come? How is it that they didn't even really continue to talk about it? Like, they didn't even try to bring it up anymore, when it was a clear situation that even the commentators took note to, of not only the I'll get into it. I'll make another video about it because I'm going to go ham on that one. So then Lewis into the wall. I mean, we saw this several times. He's going to pit 13.8 seconds. That ain't going to do him no good. He falls to 9th. He screwed himself. Lewis screwed himself there. I will agree that earlier in the race, maybe they should have given him the tires he wanted to. I thought he ran a pretty good race up until the end. I don't think his start was the best, but also I don't think his start was the best because Carlos pushed him off track. But of course, first lap incidents has happened, and I'm not faulting Carlos for that. That is what it is. I'm not going to change my tone now. The first lap, it could be crazy. It could be crazy. It doesn't matter. And sometimes drivers are different. Drivers that you may favor may be on the blunt end of that crazy debacle, that rat race to get into position. That's why stewards look at that like that, and I think that's why they didn't go back and review it. I think maybe if anything, I don't think shit. I think they should let it fly just like it was, and that is what it is. So I'm not changing my perspective on that. Then we got Max locks up and rides off track, returns to the track in front of Hamilton, and then we clearly see the difference between a RB18 straight line speed and a W13 straight line speed. It's vast. There's a big gap between a RB18 and a W13 when it comes to straight line speed. That's like, we're not even there's no question in that. No question in there. It is clearly obvious. Max is in the pits. He goes on soft tires. Of course, he's trying to make up for the shit that they lost. Then Russell has a puncture. And then 26 minutes left in the race, we get some DRS action. I mean, what do we want to say about this? 5 minutes to go. This is something that was funny to me. The commentators thought it was like a cool fun fact stat to say that between we had a nice little glimpse of world champion drivers in gap, coupled together or tripled together, and that would be Vettel, Hamilton, and Max. That's how it was lined out. And they were like, you know what? I think they said like 12 championships between these drivers. If that's a fun fact to mention, as a commentator, I'm also mentioning the fun fact that 12 championships between all three of these drivers, and two of these drivers combined don't equal up to one driver himself. Even if you total Max and Seb's championships, and Lewis Hamilton still has more championships than those two drivers put together. You total Seb with 4, Max with 1, Alonso with 2, and you still just then equal one driver. Why is that not a fun fact anytime they want to try to bring that in? Like, how do you not even want to mention that? Like, yeah, like, but damn, out of those 12, one driver holds 7 of those things. Like, it's funny how they do it. Like, it's funny how they do it to kind of keep, but it's really crazy. It's really funny to me. But also, I'm gonna say this. Hold on. Suggestion. We got the auto stream. Current bit rate 0 is lower. Boo, boo, boo. All right, that's a bit. All right, we good right now. Okay, so also we are also looking at the fact that there's always a gamble to be taken. And I am criticizing Lewis Hamilton for taking that gamble. All right, he took that gamble, and I think it was ill-advised at which the point he was. That portion of the track that he decided to leave the drier racing line for definitely was way more wet than you probably would like to gamble with. I think he should have waited for another or better opportunity, because there's no way with Max and the RB18 behind you that you're already compromising yourself with trying that overtake, which you likely may open the door for Max even with going through that overtake. So there's no room for error for you to make a mistake, compounding the risk of being overtaking yourself. So yeah, I don't think he should have went for that. I don't. I think he should have just chilled and went for it at another point in time, especially with DRS. I think that would have been a better opportunity to come down the straight with DRS, maybe go into a corner, maybe have a better opportunity in a drier portion of the track if it was available. But we already know today's track was indeed not the best for overtaking. Several drivers said that. So I'm going to tell you right now, it is time for everybody, all the Wolfpack family. If you are a Wolfpack family member, it is time for you to head over to the after party, because we will be in the Wolves Den discussing all this shit that just happened within. So if you are that, I don't have to tell you where your invite is. You know where your invitation is. Get ready. Go click that link. We're going to be in there talking. We're going to be in there chopping it up. We're going to talk about a few different topics. And then after that, yeah, I'm going to cut an acre of lawn and do something a little bit more, get a little exercise in. And then I'm also going to, boom. Let's see. Nall says, why is that when Sonoda loses it, he needs to see a shrink? When Lewis loses it, it's the angry black man. When Max loses it, well, it's, hey, Nall, let me answer that question. It's called bias and racism, okay? That's what it's called. It would seem, and listen, don't take offense to this. Don't take offense to this. My counterparts, don't take offense to this. You also see it in football, right? Terrell Owens. Oh, he's a menace. He's bringing trouble. He's always loud and rambunctious. Michael Irvin. You know what I'm saying? These more prominent, stronger black figures in football, right? But the minute Tom Brady does it, throws an iPad, go cusses somebody out. Oh, he's just passionate for the game. Why? Because it's racism. It's the double standard that if a white man does it, it's going to be looked at as he's trying to be a good leader. If a black man or another man of color does it, oh my goodness. I mean, why are they acting like that? That's why. And that's where the bullshit comes in. And that's why I have a platform. I don't give a damn about saying it because it's true. It's true. And if I was on Formula One on Sky Sports, I'm going to say just that. You all know the dynamic and double standard that society has when it comes to a man of color or woman of color speaking up or therefore showing maybe an aggressive attention of vocal or verbal, and it's being deemed as they need help or they're being aggressive and irate versus a white person doing it and them being looked at as they're just passionate and they just want to do the best. That's the double standard. You shouldn't look at it both ways. If you're a competitor, you're a competitor. It doesn't matter what tone or color you are. You're a competitor. As long as you're not going upside somebody's head, you're not trying to attack somebody. Like Seb, he literally took his Formula One car and rammed it into Lewis Hamilton. What the hell? That should have definitely deserved more of a penalty than what happened. Come on now. That's the problem. That's what it is. That's what it is. And we see it too often in more than just Formula One. We see it in other sports as well. That's exactly what it is. I'm just calling it like it is. You might not like it, but it's the truth. And if you want to try to debate me on it, you're welcome to debate me on it. But hey, don't do it in the quarterly keyboard. Sometime I go live on IG and I done had a lot of people talk all that smack about what they would tell me if they could tell it to me, and then they don't show up, or when they do show up, they quiet and they just want to keep typing. Just sit down and shut your ass. Just please sit down and shut your ass. Do that. Do that for yourself. For real. Because I'm not the one. Guaranteed. So, all right. I really appreciate everybody making it. I hope the race didn't disappoint anybody. We will be in the Zoom meet. We going over to the Wolves Den. I will see all my Wolves family members there. Big shout out to everybody contributing. I will post a super chat, likes and thanks, and super shout out for that. Post this today. It will be up there sometime today. And we will see you again for the next race. I will have content dropping all week. I'm probably going to be live sometime in the week to talk about other things that are developing. And yeah, that's what we do. So keep your jury tight and try to be the best you can in life. And don't cry about things because things don't always work out you want, but always have a plan and keep moving forward. All right, peace.